Hello again, everyone. It's been quite some time. I don't know why, but I haven't made a video in a long time. I've been trying to put different parts of my life together, but here I am again. So thank any of you who are watching this. I'm very grateful for it. The first video I'm going to make, coming back, is another little book review or book short, and it's going to be about this book right here. Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Now, who is Kazuo Ishiguro? Kazuo Ishiguro is an author, world-renowned author. He's actually won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and he's written great books such as The Berry Giant and Never Let Me Go. And this was the first book I had the honor of reading by Kazuo Ishiguro. I plan on checking more of his books out towards the future. Now in this video, I'm going to give a brief synopsis of the book, and then ultimately what I think about it, the potential #1 lesson I learned from it, and then the rating I give the book. So now we start in the beginning. In the beginning, it's set up in a city. You learn it's in England, and that there are these symbiotes, creatures, androids called AFs, which are artificial friends. And these artificial friends are often bought by kids, and they become companions. Klara happens to be an AF. She is a little bit older model, but she has very good observational abilities. And day by day, she's wanting to be picked up by a kid. Eventually, time goes on when it seems like hope is lost, and she is picked up by a girl named Josie. Josie takes her home, really loves her, and after some time and tests from her mother, Klara goes home with them. And over the course of time, Klara meets the housekeeper, has conversations with the mother, meets Josie's boyfriend at the time, Rick, and goes through all these ordeals where she makes these observations about the relationships between the different characters, or even other random people who come about. She can see their thoughts, their feelings, the good things they do, the bad actions or the cruelty that different people portray. And all of it continues to cascade into a specific moment where Klara goes with Josie's mom on a trip. And as they take a trip, what you find out is that Josie used to have a sister named Sal, but Sal died on a trip. And so over the course, you discover that they actually tried to bring Sal back to life, and it doesn't end up panning out. This keeps going, and this forges on for about 200 pages. Then comes a moment, a specific moment, where Klara is taken with the mother and this other man named Henry Capaldi. And what they reveal to Klara is that they're making another AF, or a sculpture of Josie, so that if Josie dies, Josie can be revived in a new form. Or in other words, what they wanted to have happen was they wanted Klara to monitor and observe Josie and get so good at knowing her that when Josie potentially dies, Klara would just download all her information into this new Josie body and become Josie. Which brings a lot of questions on whether each individual can be copied. Whether it's as simple as taking the information from our noggin and downloading it into a new hard drive body to create a new life form. Things go on, and Klara ends up not going down that route because at first she believes that all Josie needs is sunlight. And so Klara does things such as letting the father of the family take a little bit of her oil out of her neck and destroying the machines that are polluting the sky and blocking the sun. After a few twists and turns, Josie, on the brink of death, eventually has sunlight shine through the window And this sunlight ends up reviving her and making her better than ever before. And then at the very end of the book, what ends up happening is you see Josie and her boyfriend, or who used to be her boyfriend Rick, all grown up and ready to go to college. And Klara on the brink of the end of her journey. And you find out that Rick and Josie are no longer together. That Klara did this to keep their love together, but there's an explanation that their love, each and every single individual, they had genuine love at the time. And though they've grown apart in their own journeys and their own paths, in some small way, the love is there on a deeper level. Eventually, Josie goes to a specific yard where she's going to end her functioning, and that's a wrap. Now, that's the basic story. That's without diving into all the intricacies and details from beginning to end. What do I think about the book, and what is the number one lesson I learned from it? In this book, if I were to give it a rating, the way Ishiguro writes, he's very detailed. Every single scene, he really gets into the nitty-gritty, describing the sights, the leaves, the trees, the ground. Every little detail he gets into it. He does it with such depth that you have no trouble visualizing what he creates. And that's the beauty of it. What I will say is, the not so bright side of it is sometimes in certain scenes I felt like there was a little too much detail. Whereas the story could have been moved a little quicker, or the pace could have been quicker. But there were times where it was focused more on how the scenery looked around. And so, amazing writing. That was just my little con there. And then as far as the story, like I said, with the pacing, for about 200 pages, I thought it was a decent read. I saw on the cover that it was by somebody who who won the Nobel Prize in Literature. And so I was thinking from page to page, almost every page I'd be gripped. But I'd say for about 200 pages, I liked the story, but I wasn't gripped. There were times where I would put it down, take a break, all right, I'll come back to it. It wasn't spellbinding. But once it hit page 200 and you learn what's going to happen to Josie potentially, then from 200 to like 303, woo, you are in it. That's where the spellbound magic happens. And I wish that from 200 to 303, that same momentum was in the very beginning. Overall, if we took 10, right? We take 10 emoji smiley faces. I'm going to say this book, in my opinion, is 8 out of 10 emoji faces. Just because of the pacing. Pacing draws it back. But the moments, the creativeness when it comes to the drawing, you can tell this guy is a masterful writer. And the lessons that it provides. Now, if you read the back cover of this book right here, it'll talk about what love means. And to me, the number one thing I learned from this book is that the depth of the beauty of the love is determined by each and every single one of us. Right? There are a bazillion different definitions for what love is. And in the end, we could have these debates about if love is a true thing, or if there's an actual soul, or if love and the soul are the same thing. There are all these different paradigms. But what makes love special is that that concept has a different meaning for each and every single one of us. That love, that depth is created by us and our relationships with the people that we have. And so, do I think this is an amazing read? I do. I did give it 8 out of 10. It's still a worthwhile read. And so this book right here is a book on love, rightfully so. I hope all of you find your own ways to love others and to love yourself. Have a good day, everyone. Questions, comments, and concerns are appreciated. Please subscribe if you found it interesting, and I plan on making more and more videos. Catch you next time. All right, bye.